This video is going to be entirely dedicated to a very important topic, receptors. Receptors. Now, we were just talking about the plasma membrane, so you should be aware that this is a phospholipid, bilipid membrane. The outside of the cell is up here, the extracellular fluid. The intracellular fluid, the inside of the fluid, the inside of the cell is portrayed down here. And what we're looking at here is a receptor. Now, this is the example that they give you in chapter 3. I'm also going to show you an example from chapter 11. These are both examples of receptors. A receptor, generally speaking, is a transmembrane protein. Here it is in purple. Transmembrane, meaning it goes across the membrane from outside to in. And here again, a transmembrane protein from outside to in. Receptors are, as far as, the ones that I've studied are always proteins. And they are embedded within the membrane. And what they do is they allow for the reception, they're called a receptor, they allow you to receive information into a cell, a receptor. And they have a particular look to them. You're always going to be looking for a little divot on the outside. Remember that we said that the shape of proteins is super important? This would be an active zone in this particular protein. This would be a spot where the action happens, and there's a signal then transmitted to the inside of the cell. And the same here. This particular receptor is what we call a channel receptor, or receptor associated with a channel. So in this case, when this receptor, see there, right there, that little divot right there, when this protein receptor receives a signal, it causes the channel to open up. Here, when this protein receptor receives a signal, it causes something to happen within the cell, and that's a lot to look at right now. So we won't go into this right now, but we will come across this topic once this semester and once next semester, so you should be familiar with it. It's called a second messenger system, or a G-protein mechanism. So it's I guess I just wanted to really introduce that concept of the receptor because it's so super important. We're going to be coming across lots of receptors. I want you to associate the word receptor with protein, first of all. Remember that a receptor is a protein. Remember that a receptor is oftentimes embedded within the membrane. Not always, though. Sometimes there's a receptor actually inside of the cell that isn't associated with the membrane, but there's a particular reason for that. But it's always a protein, or maybe like a proteoglycan, something like that, some kind of a protein carbohydrate amalgamation. I don't know. But, for the most part, what it allows for is the reception of some kind of information. You receive information at this receptor. So that's because receptors become such an important part of our information going forward. I really want you to integrate that information about the receptor.